Hi, welcome to RAR Math. Today I'm doing a series of videos of solving polynomials. So the first thing I need to look at when I'm solving polynomials is that the equation equals 0. I need it to equal 0 because eventually I'm going to factor this and I'm going to get two binomials that are multiplied together, and there's this zero product property that says if two numbers multiply together to be 0, then one of them has to be 0. And this is very important for what we're doing. All right, so for this first one, it's equal to 0, so I need to factor it. When I factor it, I'm going to use the AC. I'm going to take 15 times negative 4, which is negative 60, and I'm going to break this down to be negative 20 and 3. Now, from here, I'm replacing this middle term with the two terms that add up to it. So I have 15x squared minus 20x plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. If I factor a 5x out of the first two terms, and I'm bringing this sign down, a 1 out of the second, I get 5x times 3x minus 4 plus 1 times 3x minus 4. So I have 3x minus 4 times 5x plus 1 equals 0. So now that I have this down to the product of two numbers, each set of parentheses represents a single number, I can then say that either 3x minus 4 equals 0, which happens when 3x is 4, or x is 4/3, or 5x plus 1 equals 0, which happens when 5x equals negative 1, or x equals a negative 1/5. Now, some of you in the past have seen videos where I solve using fractions. So at this point, if I were going to do that method, I would have x minus 20 over 15 times x plus 3 over 15 equals 0. So this one becomes x equals, I divide a 5 out, 4/3, and this one becomes a negative, I divide a 3 out, 1/5. If you use the fraction method, it was actually developed to make solving simpler. Okay, now for my second one, the first thing you're going to notice is that it does not actually equal 0. So I'm going to have to subtract that 24 over. So I'm going to have x squared minus 11x minus 24 equals 0. Because a is 1, I just need to find a pair of numbers that multiply to negative 24 and add up to negative 11. So I can do 1 in negative 24, which adds up to negative 23. That does not work. 2 in negative 12, that's negative 10. Actually, because what I'm looking for is between these numbers, I know it's not going to work. 3 and negative 8 would work if they were both negative, but they're not because I need to subtract to get to 11, and 4 and negative 6. Okay, so for me, I am going to say no solution. However, if you have gotten as far as the quadratic formula, you could solve this with a quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, of course, is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So for that, I would have x equals negative b, so I take my 11 and I do minus a negative, so it's a positive 11, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's 11 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative 24, all over 2 times 1. So x equals 11 plus or minus the square root of 207 all over 2. We could put that in a calculator and go to decimal, but I am not going to do that right now. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks!